Good morning. Welcome to Charlotte Country Day School Junior Kindergarten through 4th grade virtual open house. I'm Nancy Ehringhaus, and I'm just delighted to have you all here with this morning. Mark Reed and I were talking right before we started, and he said, let's have some fun. So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to have some fun together, learning about Country Day. I am here in the College Guidance Office that's overlooking the heart of our upper school. You might see students going back and forth from class this morning during our meeting. Country Day is a school of many firsts. We were the first independent school in Charlotte. We were the first to have a director of diversity planning who plans and implements all our diversity, equity, inclusion work throughout the school. We were the first to have full-time assistants all day, every day in the lower school, first to have an international baccalaureate program, and many firsts. You all are part of another first, and that's being a part of our first virtual open house. This pandemic has brought so many challenges. It's hard to imagine. I know for you all, you're probably at home working from home. Your children are learning remotely many times. Some of the preschools aren't even open yet. Admissions directors all over the country are trying to figure out how are we going to bring the school to life for the families like you who are trying to figure out what's the next best step for my child. We've worked hard to try to figure out exactly how we can bring classroom to you. Usually you come to our campus and we go in and out of the classrooms, and you can see and feel and hear the joy of the children learning. You can see them on the playground playing on the monkey bars. You can watch them heading to PE, to the cafeteria where they might be meeting their parents for lunch, whatever. But we can't do that right now, so we're going to try to help you feel who we are as a school through a series of video clips that we've provided for you. There's also going to be a time at the end for you to ask questions, so please feel free to put a question into the chat space, and we'll try to answer those questions for you once we're finished with the first part of our program. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you our head of school, Mark Reed. Mark is in his 13th year with us at Charlotte Country Day School. He came to us from St. John's School in Houston, Texas, where he was a coach, a teacher. He was in the advancement office. He was the assistant head of school before coming to Country Day to be with us as our head of school. Mark loves to help children get out of the car in the morning, welcoming them for a day of school. He's running a board meeting. He's involved in the community. He has really helped lead our country forward, and we're proud to have him with us, and I'm happy to introduce him to you today. Mark.
Thank you, Nancy. It is indeed a great time and a challenging time. And as we all know, from challenges come often great opportunities. We are looking at all the ways that we can learn from this pandemic that will take us forward with our educational program. I want to thank all of you for leaning in, getting on this virtual open house and listening and learning a little bit more about our school. We're certainly honored that you're here today, and we look forward to a time when you can come on our campus and visit the school. There's, as if you've driven by the school, you'll see there's lots of construction that's gone on over the past 4 or 5 years. There are 8 or 9 new spaces that are designed absolutely to serve children. Whenever we set out to build buildings, we set them out. We build them so that they're focused on students and student learning. So we hope you can visit the campus, and as soon as we can open it, we look forward to meeting you individually. One of the things that has been a hallmark of my leadership at the school is how involved I am in the admissions process, and the fact that I really do try to get to know the families and the children who are a part of the admissions process. So I look forward to trying to get to know you when we can get back on campus and see each other. Since the start of our pandemic, the school has been flexible, innovative, and resilient. Our faculty, staff, students, and parents have all displayed an incredible sense of community, that very sense of community that attracted me to the school 12 years ago. The result is that our children, from the smallest to the eldest, have benefited from the very, very best academic experience possible. From the moment students arrive each morning to the time they depart, our teachers and staff are doing all that needs to be done to provide an excellent educational experience. Over and over again, students have told me how happy they are to be on campus learning from their teachers, and our teachers and parents have voiced the same sentiments. Quite frankly, we are all very happy to have our students with us. Doing so at this moment in time requires that we're all committed to mitigating risk both at school and at home. Without a doubt, we've been successful teaching in person because our community has joined together to help make this happen. Even though our school day is different right now, I want to share with you a few mission-centered core values of a Country Day education that will always remain true. The first is academic excellence. It's primary to who we are. It's clearly important to you, or you wouldn't be here with us today. In the program today and in conversations with our admissions team, you'll hear more about how we prepare our students for the next day, week, and year. You'll also hear about the successes of our students beyond school and where they're attending colleges. So how do we go about knowing how well we're doing? One way is we survey our recent graduates. For the last 12 years, I've surveyed our graduates during their sophomore year of college. This survey is designed to better understand their educational experience at Country Day. Year in and year out, two things have consistently rated as top responses from our graduates. And the first, as you might imagine, is academic preparation. Our students report being ready to excel, not just succeed when they arrive at college. Whether writing a research paper, producing a lab report, or having the confidence and leadership skills to take risks and make a difference on their campus, they arrive, I'll call it Country Day ready, to take full advantage of their education. The second response that is frequent in the survey is an expression of appreciation for the relationships they experienced at Country Day. They write about deep gratitude for their teachers and the support they received from our school. Many continue to stay in contact with our teachers and coaches because they felt both supported and challenged while they were here. They'll tell you they were known and they were loved by our coaches and teachers. When you combine student passion to learn and a strong, trusting relationship with teachers, academic excellence is the end result. Another core value at Country Day is moral courage. It begins in junior kindergarten as we begin to teach social emotional skills, and it continues through our middle and upper school as our students live by an honor code that goes far beyond the classroom and into the way we behave with each other in our community. Our students develop moral courage to do the right thing, whether easy or hard. I couldn't be more proud of who our students become as they grow right in front of us here at the school. The last core value I'll mention is kindness. That sense of community I mentioned earlier, it's successful because it starts with kindness. The community cares about how we treat each other, and they show respect for those around us. In fact, we all work together as a school community to grow our understanding of others. This is reinforced through our strong global programming, our diversity, equity, and inclusion work, our longtime partnerships with organizations like the Special Olympics, Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Friendship Trays, and the Learning Collaborative, to name just a few. In your time today, I'm confident that you'll start to see our children explore, gain knowledge, and become ready for their next step. We call it Country Day ready. Ready for the next day, week, year, or lifetime of fulfillment. I'm also confident that you'll leave this virtual open house with a better understanding of what Country Day can mean for your child and for you. So before I hand it back over to Nancy, please let me thank you one more time for joining us to learn more about our school. I think you'll find the wonderful aspects of this school will serve our students and will continue to do so.
Thank
Nancy?
you, Mark.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Now, Mark and our head of lower school, Bill Mulcahy, are going to switch places because we are socially distanced. We're going to let them switch spots for just a minute. But I'm so happy to introduce Bill Mulcahy to you today. Bill is in his third year at Country Day. He has two little boys. He and his wife Lauren have two little boys in the lower school, which is great fun to see Bill arriving with his sons on campus every day. That's really a treat. Bill came to us from Fairfield, Connecticut, where he was the head of lower school. It's an all-boys school, so he has come to this co-ed school, which he is enjoying, and I am happy to have him here with me. welcome Bill. And Bill has been instrumental in really helping with professional development with our teachers as they've grown and developed in the past 3 years. So much of what Bill does is shared with our parents in a weekly newsletter that I love reading, because one of the things I mentioned before was that parent partnership. And Bill writes a letter to parents, as does our middle school head and upper school head each week. And our parents get to hear not only what's happening in the lower school, but they get parenting tips. He will cite articles for them to read on stages of development with children. Maybe how to parent during a pandemic. That's one of the ones that's recently that he's been having a series on that. So I'm very pleased to introduce to you Bill Mulcahy. So I'll let Bill share a little bit about lower school with you. Bill.
Thank you, Nancy, so much. And thank you for taking the time to be with us today and to hear and kind of listen what makes our school so unique and so special. As Nancy spoke to, I have the good fortune of being the head of lower school here at Country Day, which has been a dream job for me. Every day is wonderful and unique. And I also have another job, and that's of being a Country Day dad, having two sons in the lower school, first grade boy and a third grade boy, which really gives me a wonderful perspective on the wonderful work that we do here as a school, that I get to really see the fruits of the labor that goes into supporting our kids and helping our students. So thanks again for being here. We're so happy to have you here. I'm often asked by prospective families when they're learning a little bit more about Country Day, what makes the lower school at Country Day so unique and so special? And my first response always is, how much time do you have? Because I could speak for hours and hours on the many wonderful things we do, the way that we support children, the way that we create joyful and wonderful and collaborative learning spaces. But a few things quickly come to mind. The first is joy. The lower school at Country Day is a joyful space. Be it in the classroom, on the playground, or anywhere in between, I'm always struck by the joy that I see from our students and from our teachers as I walk through the school. Our students come to school eager to learn, often literally running out of their cars, much to my chagrin. I need to remind them to slow down a little bit. And they can be seen in afternoon carpool, sticking their head out the window, waving to their friends, waving goodbye to their teachers. Always upset to be leaving school, but also eager for another day of school. And one of the main sources of their joy I have found is our teachers. We have an incredibly strong group of teachers, of professionals who prioritize creating warm, engaging, inviting, positive learning spaces, which clearly rubs off on our students. I can think of few places, if any, that are truly as happy as the lower school at Country Day. Another key component of the lower school experience is student engagement. What you would see if you were currently in our lower school classrooms, and I'm sorry you can't be today, but is students purposefully engaged in the learning process, happily diving into challenging classwork that is hands-on, engaging, and fun. Young children are curious and inquisitive, and our school program leverages their natural curiosity in a way that creates joy, enthusiasm, and passion for learning. Our students learn by doing and have access to incredible resources both in and out of the classroom that helps learning come alive for them every day. And finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the strength of our academic program and our responsiveness to our students as they grow. We meet our students where they are, engage and motivate them throughout the learning process, and work tirelessly to ensure that our children are challenged and have access to enriching learning opportunities, all while being supported and nurtured every step of the way. This allows our students to be tremendously prepared as they transition to middle school and upper school and beyond. As you will continue to hear from us, one of the greatest strengths of our community, if not our greatest strength, is our teachers. We're eager to have you hear from a few lower school teachers today. Nancy, who's up first?
Up first, this morning, we have Sherry Harris, who is one of our kindergarten teachers, and she's going to talk a little bit about literacy. Reading, writing, spelling, all of that begins in junior kindergarten, and kind of take you through the thread of junior kindergarten through fourth grade and how we teach that literacy component of our lower school.
Country Day is a place that students really learn how to become lifelong learners, and we begin as early as junior kindergarten with the students knowing that they are readers, they are writers. They're focusing on being able to take letters and sounds and figure out, oh my gosh, print has meaning.
I like apples.
In first grade, they get to go on a mission and they become detectives. And so they are trying to figure out how words work. And they figure out that there are these vowels in the middle and what do we do with those? So they go on special missions and they do detective work to figure out more about the actual word work. We work a lot in those early years on phonological awareness and phonics instruction. And then that carries them to now we really need to also develop that even further and develop the comprehension skills. And so second grade, third and fourth, a lot of the writing units really focus on them being able to write books. And they write both nonfiction and fiction books. As readers, they're going deeper.
Remember, itchy, itchy, itch. That's our hand soup because that's in our special vowel. This one's bear. Ready?
As a student and as a faculty member and as a parent of two Country Day grads that started here in kindergarten, that Country Day is a community that cares so much about each and every individual child and each and every member, the parents of that community, the faculty of that community, and it's shown in the thoughtfulness of how we instruct students and how we build community within this space.
It's going to be a happy day.
Throughout my years as an educator, if there's one thing I've taken away, it's the transformative impact that teachers have, great teachers, on students. My youngest son had the fortune of having Sherry Harris, who you just watched, as his kindergarten teacher, and I can attest to this impact firsthand.
Yeah, it's very true. And next we're going to hear from Erin Dudley, who is a first grade teacher, and she's going to take you through our math program, where you're going to see how the math, where hands-on leads to that concept, how children learn concepts. It's that concrete that builds as they go along and prepares them for math down the road. So we're going to let you hear from Erin.
I'm Erin Dudley, and I am a first grade lead teacher, and here in the lower school I also serve as the lower school department chair in math. What makes Country Day different is that we are able to really gear our instruction towards the needs of the learners. We really want children in the lower school to have a good understanding of numbers, and that foundation in understanding numbers, being able to visualize the problem, see the numbers, and come up with multiple strategies or methods in order to manipulate numbers.
How can we apply this? So this is our problem of the lesson. Let's work on this together for a minute.
Our math program that we use, the curriculum is Math in Focus, and it's a Singapore-style math curriculum. They believe in concrete, pictorial, abstract method, and so in our math lessons, each lesson starts off with a hands-on approach to learning. So we're sending out an invitation to the kids to play. And then we shift them into the pictorial phase where they are asked to draw what they see. So they're drawing a math picture, whether it be a tens frame or a number bond. In the lower grades, we use those models, but as it develops into the upper grades, we transition them into using bar models. And then we learn the abstract, which is the equations.
Is the same as 3,000. And I'm going to count this just to be sure.
Our mathematicians leave the lower school with the confidence that they are able to tackle any math problem that comes their way, that whatever math class they're sitting in the future, that they have the confidence to be able to succeed and to know that with hard work and effort, they're able to overcome any challenge that comes their way.
The analytical and critical thinking skills developed throughout lower school, and particularly in math, help our students as they move through Country Day.
Yeah, they really make math fun. I mean, sometimes you don't think of that, but it is truly fun. Next, our short video is going to be about Erin Dudley, and she, Amy Ilfeld. She's going to talk a little bit about research in the lower school and how that research begins in junior kindergarten and builds.
In the lower school, it is vital that the children learn to develop their own questions. It's really important because the kids need to learn how to assess information on their own. So when they have a question and they pose it and they do some research around it, they can actually critique it. So therefore, there's some guided inquiry, but then there's some open-ended inquiry where they can be kind of the mastery of their own information. Practical application really is that they know the skills of how to look up something, how to find information through other people, through books, through internet sites, and then the other practical piece is when they're gathering this information, which information is important for me to know, which is not important, which is credible, and which is not credible. So those things are really practical as they continue on in terms of acquiring knowledge. One of the things that really propels my teaching is the kids. Their questions inspire me to do more learning. Country Day actually continues that piece for me, where I keep wanting to learn. I want to be a better teacher, I want to learn more things, and therefore I want my students to do the same thing.
In lower school, we leverage the natural curiosity of our young students through inquiry and research to help foster enthusiasm for learning and to allow students to dive deeply and meaningfully into their learning and to take ownership of it.
And now we're going to get to hear from Laurie Townsend about our special area classes. We really believe that those add so much to our overall programming, and want you to hear a little bit more about how we teach art and music and French and Spanish and all those classes. So now I'm going to let Laurie share a little bit more with you about our special classes.
I'm Laurie Townsend. I am the lower school science teacher, and I'm also the special area coordinator. So in the lower school at Charlotte Country Day School, we have an incredible opportunity to have the children be exposed to so many different types of content areas, specifically the arts, science, physical education. Being able to have 5-day-a-week physical education for our young children is critical, and being able to also offer 2 additional languages besides their literacy instruction in English with French and Spanish in our modern language program is really one of the most opportune experiences that our children can have. We have such an enormous opportunity to be able to have the children explore different passions through each of these areas in their content.
How many did we release today?
4.
We released 4. How many were girls?
3.
3. How many were boys? 1. So if we have 3 girls and 1 boy, how many does that make altogether? 4.
For specifically the butterflies, the most important piece of that is the opportunity for the children to connect to something that we're studying and not just hear or see about it, to actually be able to live that experience and have it be authentic, and to be able to connect it to a larger conservation story.
And then we have that tiny baby caterpillar, remember? And then it gets so much bigger. So do we remember we called this one what?
A teenager.
A teenager, you're right. It's like a teenager caterpillar.
Being able to watch the children grow from junior kindergarten through 4th grade is probably one of the greatest gifts of being a lower school teacher. Having them with you for 6 years, especially as a specialist, you get to see them grow and become these incredible people that are going to change the world. And that is truly one of the greatest gifts of being a member of this faculty.
As you've seen and heard, our academic program is robust and allows for students to develop a variety of interests and passions. Our school program also places equal emphasis on social and emotional development and recognizes the correlation between academic success and social emotional success. Social emotional skills like perseverance, collaboration, empathy, and self-awareness and management are developed in and out of the classrooms and lay a foundation for future success and happiness for our students.
The next part of our program, we're going to be showing you a couple of our families who are part of Country Day. And we know that when you're looking at a school and you're thinking about joining this community, you want to know, how do I get involved? You've probably been very involved at your child's school, whether it's their preschool or their elementary school, wherever they are, and you want to be sure that you can be a part of the school, your new school. We know our admissions office couldn't do what we do without our parent helpers. We've got a whole team that help us. There are parents who are helping open cars in the morning. There are parents who are here during a typical year, not so much right now, but they'll be back. But parents who are coming to eat lunch with their child, as I mentioned before. So we want you to hear a little bit more from two families about what it's been like to be at Country Day.
Charlotte Country Day is a loving community that cares about the whole child. He loves options and the ability to make choices, and he feels like he gets that opportunity here with his teachers. Mark Reed saying your child will be known and loved. He feels that on a daily basis from not just his primary teachers, but any and all faculty and administrators that he comes in contact with every day.
The special area classes are all fantastic, and Julian is always excited about going to them, but I noticed right away he's always talking about science and art. Science, art, and music, like those are his favorites. And even this morning on the way to school, he said, I really like Charlotte Country Day. So it just reassures you that we made the correct decision and he's in the best place for him.
Yeah, so I think about the fact that we'd like to think as his parents that we've provided him a great foundation. But at the same time, we recognize he spends the majority of his waking hours at Charlotte Country Day. So the impact that teachers, faculty, administrators, his classmates have had on him has been profound. It's been very positive. And we just really appreciate everything that's been done for him and with him. We just wake up every day just really thankful that he gets to come to a place like this.
At Country Day, there's just this overwhelming sense of welcome. There is joy everywhere on campus. There was just this happiness and this joy, and it just felt like a great place that we wanted to be a part of.
Our oldest son loves to read, and the teachers know him so well that they've given us tips on how to help him read even further and better and more at home. So that they really personalize the education experience to each one of them. I think it's developing a love for learning, but it's also getting them ready for the world. When we interview and hire people, I can point out the ones that have been to Country Day because they have grit, they're curious, they're smart, they're kind-hearted. And I think that foundational learning experience that Country Day provides is a good cornerstone to college and eventually the workforce. For us, global awareness is extremely important. You see, I mean, we grew up in different countries with different cultures, and I think Country Day encompasses that.
We want our children to grow in a way that opens their minds, not just academically, but to the world around them as well. We really wanted to choose a school with high academic standards. Country Day has the highest levels of academic excellence, but they also balance that with a very unique approach of nurturing and growing the whole child.
They are at the forefront of infrastructure, reinvesting into the school, the curriculum, the technology, the teachers. It's just a great place.
Typically at an open house, we like you to meet our children. We have young children greeting people as they arrive for the day, for our open house. We have older students here to help get you from place to place. But one of the important things that we know that you're thinking about is, so what's the end product like? What are children like once they've been at Country Day for 12 or 13 years? So we have 2 students here who are going to answer some questions and help you get a sense of what it's like to be a lifer at Country Day, because both of these students have been here since junior kindergarten and kindergarten. So enjoy hearing from 2 of our students who are now thinking about what their next step is, and we hope that they are very Country Day ready, as Mark mentioned, for this next step, and we know that they are.
Something that's nice about Country Day is there's generally small class sizes. Even within the first month, you form like a strong relationship with your teacher. They always know your name, and they're there to help you along the way, whether you're stuck or even if you're doing well, they're there to congratulate you. And that's something that I really value.
Kind of that idea of doing your best even when no one's watching. You don't need that external validation. You don't need that applause to do the right thing, to live a whole life, to be good to others, to be true to yourself.
It's amazing that I can be able to stay at the same school since I was 5 years old, and I just get to form a relationship with all my peers and also with my teachers and get a great education and feel comfortable in my setting.
I really love the interdisciplinary approach. So when I'm in English and I'm talking about one thing, I'm also probably talking about the broader concept also in history. I think IB, you might not be going as wide, but you're going deeper and you're going into the heart of the issues, the thematic pieces. And honestly, that's what gets me ticking. That's what I'm like, wow, this is so cool to just dive in deep to these interesting concepts.
So one of the reasons I love chemistry is because Mr. Collins makes something that many people consider dull, and he makes it fun and he makes it engaging. So learning and memorizing 30 molecules seems fun, and it's something that I want to apply myself to rather than it feeling boring.
The fundamental idea that teachers really care about more than just their student getting a good grade in the class, but actually how they're going to do in life and how they're doing like physically, mentally, all the holistic approach. I'm so grateful. If there's really one thing, it's the teachers, because they truly care.
Thank you for watching our videos, and I hope that you've learned a little bit more about Country Day. I want to walk you through kind of what's going to happen in the next few months as you go through the admissions process, and just remind you of a few things to keep in mind. Certainly we have the most amazing admissions staff who will be on hand for you to help you as you make your way through this process. Robin Riggins, Molly Phillips, Cheryl Miller, Jabari Spruill, our team is here to help you. So just know that we're just a phone call or an email away. All our emails are on our website. And phone numbers, so please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And many of your questions that you might have at this point will be on our website, so please don't forget to go to our website and look at everything. Next steps are, if after being with us this morning, if you've decided that you would like to go a little step further, you can fill out your application. You can also have a virtual talk and tour with us. We call it a talk and tour because typically we sit down and talk to you and then we take a walk around the campus. Since we can't do that, we have a virtual tour that we'd love for you to do with us, so please call our office to set that up. Your child, once they're in application, there will be steps for the admissions process. One is an outside test with a psychologist, which your child will love. It's like just playing games. They will enjoy it. Another piece is a virtual tour, that a virtual meeting that you will have with one of our kindergarten teachers retired kindergarten teachers where they're going to be assessing your skills, your child's skills. You'll get to do that. It's a Zoom. You'll get to be right there with your child, so it will be absolutely fun for them. If they haven't Zoomed before, which I can't imagine in this world, I never dreamed Zoom would be a word that I would use at least 10 times a day. But if your child is not Zoomed, we're going to tell you to, maybe practice with a grandparent or a friend or someone like that. You also will give your teacher a teacher recommendation form, and that will be your child's teacher will fill out what your child is doing right now in school. So all of those steps are listed on our website. We will help you make your way through all that, but that's part of the process that you will go through. We're going to have several small events along the way in the coming months. One, we hope you will all join us. We will be having an affirmation of community meeting, open house, that is looking at diversity, equity, inclusion work that we're doing at Country Day and how important that is to us and our mission of our school. That will be on November 17th at 7 p.m. We hope you'll join us for that. We'll also have a series of other smaller events for those who are in application, just to learn a little bit more about being a parent at Country Day. What is middle school like? Because we have a separate middle school campus that we're very proud of, and we want you to spend time learning about middle school. So all of those things are part of what's going to happen in the coming months. So we look forward to helping you make your way, and we look forward to sharing all that with you. So for now, we do have a lot of questions that Bill and I are going to answer for you. You all have sent us some pictures, some of your questions that we'd love to answer. We'll just take turns answering them. We may not get to all of them because we want to be careful of our time here, because we know on camera it's hard to have too much time while you're watching us. But we do have several questions that we'd like to answer. One of them is just a simple question of how many kindergarten classes do we have? We have 5 kindergarten classes with 24 children in each class. As I mentioned before, one of our firsts is that we have 2 full-time teachers in each class, a lead teacher and assistant teacher, who are with us all day, every day. And that 5 sections of kindergarten through 4th grade. Junior kindergarten, we have 3 sections, and there are 20 children in each class.
What I would add to that too, Nancy, is the idea of student responsiveness, which I was talking about a little bit earlier. The ability to respond to the needs of our students by having 2 full-time teachers is a wonderful thing. We can work in small groups. We can really differentiate how we teach to best support our students, our learners, as they go through, to make sure they're being supported and enriched, and just having a robust, well-balanced approach.
Thank you, Bill. That's great. One question a couple of people asked was, what sets Country Day apart? I will tell you that Bill and I can certainly tell you what we think is great about Country Day. One is that we love the fact that we have PE every day. We love the fact that we have 2 campuses. We have middle school is separate, 5th through 8th grade is on a separate campus. We have an international baccalaureate program. We have an international studies program where middle school children are traveling. We were the first. That was one of our other firsts. So there's so many things that we think do differentiate us. We have an organic chemistry class in upper school, which is really a college level class. So we have so many differentiators. But what I tell families, and I'm sure Bill, you would probably say the exact same thing. What I tell families is that just do your research, because for each of you, there is something that's more important than it is for somebody else. So just ask the questions that are important for you. We know that we have the best you could possibly want in academics and the balance that we provide for our children, but I would suggest that you take a look and see what seems to be the right thing for your family.
I would add to that idea of balance, just the balance of course, rigorous academics, but also strong character development, character skills. Our students have a well-rounded approach to being educated, which really benefits them, again, socially, emotionally, and academically, and I think that's significant. The other thing I would say, and of course I can't speak to other schools, but what I'm always so impressed with about this school and the work I do in lower school, but across every division, is just the commitment to excellence and to getting better and constantly assessing and reassessing what we're doing and having conversations which are always focused on what's best for our students. And that's such a source of pride for me, is knowing that every everything that's done is done with the best interest of our students in mind. And the idea of just continually getting better, that's what Country Day has always done historically, that's what we're doing now, and that's what we'll continue to do in the future.
And I'll add to that too. I think that one of the things that Mark was, when he was talking about the buildings that we've added on campus, we've been so fortunate to be able to really enhance our campus. But that is not to grow the campus. It's not for us to be a bigger school. It's really to enhance the programs that are then going to impact what our children are doing. So all across the board, I think those are those things that are differentiators.
When the buildings
for us.
allow our people to do the work that they do at the highest possible level and support our kids, which is a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Someone asked, is junior kindergarten the same as TK pre-K? Yes, it is. We all call it something different, but it is. It's a year before you come into kindergarten. So it's kind of between 4-year-old class and kindergarten. So that's what we call our junior kindergarten. Bill, here's a good one I think you should answer.
Sure.
Just what use of iPads versus time without screen, with screen time.
We're always intentional about screen time, about use of technology, and kind of a driving principle for us is always how are we using it? How are we using technology to leverage creativity? And we're also asking and making sure that we're not using technology to replicate things that can be done without technology. We're especially mindful of it, as you can imagine, in 2020, just having learned remotely this past spring, wanting to make sure that the balance is there. But essentially, in our minds, it's a tool to leverage creativity, and it really lends itself to project-based work. We do a lot of wonderful project-based work, research, which Amy Ilfeld was alluding to. So we're very mindful, and it's a topic of conversation. We talk to our families all the time. Nancy was talking about parent education, so not just kind of meaningful use of technology here at school, but also at home. That's a topic of conversation. We hear from our families a lot, and we support our families by having professionals come in and speak to screen time and kind of what's best for kids' developmentally. And this is a wide developmental continuum, as you can imagine, having 4-year-olds all the way up through 10-year-olds.
And that kind of dovetails into a question that's asked is how to determine if younger 5 should be in JK or kindergarten. And that is a great question. So many times when children are coming through the admissions process, parents are wondering, my child has a summer birthday or an early fall birthday. Should they go to kindergarten? Should they have a junior kindergarten year? And what we tell parents is there's no absolute for any child because every child is different. And we look at each child differently. And we want to be sure that the child is really being evaluated based on what is right for them, not based on a birthday, not based on a test score, not based on. So what we do is we do that case testing that we mentioned. We have the virtual interview that I mentioned that they're going to do via Zoom. We listen to what their teacher's saying, but you're also their parent, so you know a lot about them too. So it's the combination of all those things that helps us make that decision that's right for your child. We also look at the actual group of children that your child's going to be with as they go through the process. So during the admissions process, there'll be a whole group of children that will be looking at the same time. And if your child's going to be the very youngest, you may be someone who says, I'd like to give my child another year. Or we might suggest you might like to give your child another year. So we will help you with that. It is it's a very individualized process, but we will help you as you make your way through that, no doubt. One of the questions that I think you might like to is just how do we differentiate instruction and evaluate learning styles? Do you want to start with that, Bill?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there's many different ways that we differentiate instruction. One is really looking at program, looking at curriculum, and finding program and curriculum that really lends itself to differentiation. So the idea of student responsiveness, we do it by leveraging instruction in a variety of ways, individual instruction, small group instruction, assessment. This assessment is so incredibly valuable to truly understand where a child is and particular areas that we can kind of mine and really support them. So assessment, certainly curriculum.
And the Lucy Calkins, the small group instruction, that I think that's such a
Small group instruction
yeah.
as well at a young age. It's natural for reading, for example. That's a great point, Nancy. It's really normal in kindergarten and first grade to have a wide range of reading abilities, and that narrows when you get to second, third, and fourth grade, but there is a wide range. And so thinking about program, thinking about curriculum, our Lucy Calkins reading and writing workshop program, that lends itself to small group instruction where there's shared reading in groups based off of where kids are at that particular time. I get questions about tracking sometimes in lower school, and I always say that learning is so fluid in lower school that we don't track, but we will have kids work where they are on specific skills in small groups, so that students who are maybe experiencing challenges in a certain area, or children who need to be enriched in a certain area, we're being cognizant and mindful of that.
And might take one last question, and somebody said, do children need to learn how to read when they come to kindergarten? The answer is no, they do not. They come into us all different stages. Some are reading, yes, some are reading beautifully, but some just are beginning to learn the alphabet and recognize some letters and some sounds, maybe those kinds of things. So we do not expect children. I hear from parents all the time things like, I understand they have to know their birthday and their phone number and their address and things like that. No, we're looking for readiness. We're looking for general readiness to be able to sit in a circle, to be able to transition from activity to activity. The skills are all varied as each child is varied. So we look forward to sharing this time with you, and thank you so much for being with us this morning. And know that there are other questions that are here that we just don't have time to go through this morning, but please call our office. We'll be happy to help with you answer any of those questions. But thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.